Hey everybody, Jeff Underwood here, host of the Arizona Real Estate Show. We are on Periscope right now, and we're getting our podcast set for Wednesday for Veterans Day. So I have the podcast going and Periscope going, and I've got a special guest here with me, Ben Lunak. How's it going, Ben?
Oh, things are fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. The weather in Arizona is absolutely perfect. It was a little cold. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got a little chilly.
It was a little chilly today, wasn't it? I've been watching your videos on Facebook, and I feel like I probably need to start this off with a, um, let's see, what do we call that? A Ric Flair, woo!
Woo!
I've been watching your videos, man. Pretty cool
Oh,
stuff. I love what you're doing, and I wanted to have you on today as a special guest so we can, we're going to get this recorded, and then I'll get this out to everybody too. Through iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud and out on our website on Wednesday morning. But I really want to take this opportunity to have you share a little bit about your story and kind of how you got to the place you're at now in your life, if you don't mind, for
yeah.
Veterans Day. I've got my red shirt on, man. I'm supporting it. The American Warrior Initiative.
I love it,
So I know
man.
you're
I
going to
love
share
it.
with us a little bit about that. So let's go ahead and jump in, man.
Sure, yeah. Well, February 25th, 2006 was a day that changed my life forever. Up until that point, I thought my purpose in life was to serve in the United States Marine Corps. Well, that came to an abrupt end that afternoon when our truck struck a roadside bomb. And that
Got it.
explosion killed two of my fellow Marines, Adam Zanudo, which is actually his birthday today. So happy birthday, Adam Zanudo. Rest easy. I know you're up there. I hope I'm making you proud. And then also a fellow boot Marine, Lance Corporal Adam Van Elstein. Uh, so what the explosion also did was leave me with a laundry list of injuries, uh, ruptured spleen, lacerated liver, lacerated colon. My pelvis was completely, it was shattered, and I chose to have my leg amputated. Well,
Wow.
after that amputation, I spent about 1.5 to 2 months in general surgery, and then another 2.5 months, or I'm sorry, another 2 months in physical rehab. I was 200 pounds the day I was blown up, and the
Mm.
day I got checked into physical rehab, I was 115 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I was incredibly weak. I couldn't hold myself up. I had to regain all my strength. And I was discharged July of 2006. But what I found hard to believe was that is when the real battle was beginning. All the pain, all the agony, all the rough experiences I had up until that point, that was the easy part.
Yeah.
Now, going back in the civilian world, that's going to be the hard part. It was tough for me because I felt there was no greater purpose than to serve the man next to me over in a war zone. Because over there, we didn't have anyone else. It was
Yeah.
just the people next to us.
Right.
And the fact that day, I found it really hard for me because I had survivor's guilt because I was supposed to drive, not van. I was supposed to drive. And I asked if I could, I knew something bad was going to happen. So I was like, hey, Van, do you mind if I drive today? He said, no, not at all. So I was supposed to be driving, not him. He's supposed to be here, not me.
Hmm.
And that beat me up pretty good.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I started not knowing why I'm waking up in the morning. Time goes by. I just didn't. I felt like I wasn't contributing to anything. I felt depressed. My sense of purpose just basically went out the window.
Yeah.
And how I coped with that was I don't take any prescription pills, but how I coped with that was alcohol. I mean, I drank a lot because when I was drunk, it felt good. I wasn't missing a leg, and my friends weren't dead. It was basically refilling that emptiness that I had inside. So I turned to alcohol for that. And that
Hmm.
continued, man, that continued for a long time. And then I moved down here to Arizona in 2010, and that is where I met my wife. And she doesn't drink at all, so that kind of evened it out a little bit. But I
Yeah.
still had a problem because when I drank, I drank. I just didn't have one. Called it the potato chip effect. You just can't have one potato chip. You
Right.
gotta have the whole friggin' bag, you know?
Right. Right. That's right.
hmm So I met my wife, and things started going better. But because my drinking kind of toned down a little bit, and Now I had to deal with my thoughts head on. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle them. And we got married in April of 2012. I was sitting in a Starbucks parking lot. And keep in mind, a month before this, my wife and I found out that we're having a boy. We're having a baby boy.
Wow.
And sitting in a Starbucks parking lot, getting ready to go to treatment for my PTSD. And I just got off the phone with a fellow veteran, and we're just talking about how crappy civilian life is, how we don't like it, and how it's a tough transition. And I was going to throw in that. I hung up the phone with him, and I was about to throw in the towel. I was going to go home, and I was going to kill myself. And I just cried out, said, God, if you're out there right now, you better tell me something, because I'm going to go home, and it's done. I'm done. And I heard a faint hang on.
Yeah.
And that's when things started to get better. With the help of my wife, it was no overnight fix. This was in 2012. About a year ago is when I finally started to feel like a contributing member to society. So it was a huge, long process. But when you're that, I think when you're that low, it's going to take a long time for someone to get up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So one thing I did take from Iraq, or I took many things from Iraq, one of the main things that helped me out was weightlifting. My boys in Iraq, they taught me how to lift weights, and I developed a passion for that. And I continued to lift weights back in the States. And I love it. I believe there's a firm correlation between the effort you put in the weight room and the effort you put in real life or out in the real world.
Right.
So I was
No,
like,
I'm with you there because I love lifted weights. My back's a little tough right now, or a little jacked up. I pinched something, and sciatic nerve, I think, is what they said it was, and so it really, I mean, not any kind of pain you've been through, of course, but I mean, I'm one of those too. So I'll have to come out and lift with you someday.
do it, man.
I got
We
my
got plenty of.
I got my guns right here.
Sun's out, guns
Boom.
out, bruh.
Here we go, man.
You better put them things away.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, come out anytime, man. And where was I?
You lifting weights. You turned to weightlifting, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I decided that I'm gonna open a gym. Started training people just out of my garage. Wanted to start with didn't want to take out any business loans, nothing. Just wanted to literally start with nothing and work our way up.
Right.
And I started going to school for kinesiology. And I don't go to school anymore, but started taking classes on it, and I instantly fell in love with it even more. Started training people, and then last year, it'll be a year from Veterans Day, is when I got introduced to the American Warrior Initiative, and Luis and Sean, and that whole group of amazing individuals.
Right.
And they were talking about a week before, about 3 months. No, wow. It was about 7 months before that. We met the AO film guys, the Ryans, and they said, hey, we're going to get back in touch with you. We want to come back and do a little bit of story on you and your gym and your story. I said, sweet, let's do it. And they said, hey, we're going to be in Arizona, and we're wondering if you could come out and speak at this event. I was like thinking back, because I was telling my story, now I was sharing my story, but I was thinking to myself, you know what, should I go out there on Veterans Day? It's kind of I didn't want to. I was gun shy. Well, I said yes, but then the night before, I said, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna go, man. I'm just gonna chill here at home. And it said, you have to come. I said, all right, cool. I'll be out there.
Yeah.
And then I went, and American Warrior Initiative surprised me with the small business grant. Or I shouldn't say small. It was a big business grant. You know?
Yeah. They're doing some cool stuff. I know. So,
they do amazing things. I could not believe it. The fact that they didn't know me, they heard about me.
Right.
They did not know me. I've never talked to Luis in my life. I never talked to Sean in my life, and they're willing to do that for me. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And
that's how I met you. I saw you present or share your story at an event that was for the American Warrior Initiative. So that's awesome what they're doing.
Yeah, they're doing amazing things, and after the events, after the events, a lot, people get fired up at those events, and a lot of people don't know. They keep asking, like, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? They
Right.
want to help, they just don't know how. So that's why we came up with the 5Ks, the Lead the Way 5K,
Right.
because it gives everyone the opportunity to help. And it's the whole family can do it. It's a walk, or you could run,
Yeah.
or if you're in a wheelchair, you could roll, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's really no excuses, especially if I'm gonna run it. I mean, then what's up,
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So that's going to be the first. It's the beginning part of next year, right? Is the
yeah,
plan?
it's gonna be sometime. We're getting the date confirmed, but it's gonna be late February.
Okay.
Be late
All right.
February.
So we can put a message out. I'll make sure to keep sharing that then
Yeah,
for
that'd
people to
be
get
great.
involved.
If
Um,
And also on Facebook, check us out on American Warrior Initiative on Facebook, and yeah, that'll be updated on all the posts on what we're doing, how we're benefiting, and
Definitely.
all the proceeds go to local veterans. So you're not helping. The proceeds that you see is local. It's a
Right.
local investment in a veteran. You don't. It's not for someone in Alaska or someone out in New York. It's for someone in AZ,
No, that's
and
awesome.
they're going to be all over the country. So like the event that you're at, there's one in Texas, then there'll be a 5K after.
Got
So
it.
it'll be nationwide.
No, that's awesome.
Hmm.
So, so people can follow along. You said American Warrior Initiative, or um, do you have? Is there a way for them to follow more about what you're doing
Yeah.
with your
Abs-
fitness? You know, your personal training and all that too, or
yeah, absolutely. We're on every single social media site from YouTube to Facebook, Instagram, all the same. ZV Strength, or you
ZV
could
Strength? Okay,
yeah, or you
got it.
could add me on Facebook, Benjamin Lunak.
Okay,
So
well, good. Well, I
mhm.
want people to hear this to know how they can, how they can follow along.
Yeah,
More
absolutely.
than anything, I think people just need to be aware, right? I
Yeah.
think that, and the reason that I want to do this really is more for, um, I feel like we, and I say we, um, people in the States anymore, I feel like we get so busy with life. We get so busy with, the holiday seasons of shopping and going to the malls and
Hmm.
just doing all those things, right? That we
Hmm.
forget, or we sometimes forget, or maybe lots of times forget how we got the freedom that we have, right?
Yeah.
And I think people need to, I think it's time that we start paying better attention and taking care of those that
Yeah.
gave something up, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's
it's,
we definitely take it for granted. I
yeah,
take it for granted, you
yeah,
know? And
yeah,
I've been through, I've seen what it costs firsthand for our freedoms,
right.
and we just get caught up. And so many veterans get slipped through the cracks. But I think by the time we're done with with this interview, a veteran will kill himself, will
Yeah.
kill him or herself. And then also the homeless veterans get put on the streets every single day,
See, it just
and
doesn't.
yep.
To me, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't seem right.
No.
Um, because I know, well, I say I know, I really don't know what you went through, but
Hmm.
I do understand that you went through a
Yeah.
lot and that we don't uh, seem to take care of those that we probably should be taking care of.
Yeah. I think.
Um,
Yeah.
that's me. We can only share our
Mhm.
thoughts and our opinions
Mhm.
and get
Yep.
it out there and to as many people as possible. But we'll definitely put a word out for the 5K,
Yes.
and so that people can stay kind of in the loop on when it's going to take place and where
Hmm.
exactly. And we'll try to get as many people there as we can.
Yeah. And one thing I want the people to ask themselves is not what happens when we do participate in an event like this. I want you to ask yourself what happens if we don't participate in an event like this.
Yeah.
The veteran out there right now is struggling. A lot of them are struggling, but one of them is going to get blessed. That one could fall through the cracks, could end up on the streets because they can't afford rent. He could freaking has to
Yeah.
shut down his business because he doesn't have the funds anymore. And that's what those funds are going to be going to. American Warrior Initiative helps out. They just find a void in a veteran's life and they fill it.
Yeah.
Whether it's sponsoring them because they're an athlete and they don't have the funds to compete, or if it's paying off their mortgage.
Yeah.
It's a variety of things. So
No.
to It's an amazing organization. Could not believe it. Like I said a year ago, man, I couldn't believe it. Could not just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Blew my
No,
mind.
that's amazing. And things are going well, I guess, right? With your training. I see you post a lot. You've got clients, I guess, that you're kicking their butt, right?
Yeah, I mean, people are getting stronger in here, not only physically but also mentally, and
Yeah.
that's one thing I strive. You don't get judged here on what you can do; you get judged on effort. Okay, that's the biggest thing. If you don't like hard work, then we're not for you.
Yeah.
Just
Totally.
flat out. So
Got it. No, Ben, I appreciate you sharing with us today and taking time out. I know you've probably been busy talking to a lot of folks, especially with next week being Veterans Day too on Wednesday. So thanks so much, man, for taking time.
hey, I appreciate you for asking me.
Yeah,
Anything we could do to get the word out about veterans struggling, how we can help them, be more than happy to
for
do it.
sure. Well, I tell you what, let's do this then. Once you have nailed down exactly the time and
Yep.
date of the
Mhm.
event, we'll
Mhm.
do another podcast and
Yeah,
we'll
let's
just
do it.
really outline what that day is going to look like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and just get it out there so that people know. For sure,
Yeah,
man.
I would. Let's do it. I'm down.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much, buddy. Have a great week next week.
Will do. You too, brother. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thanks, man.
All right, Semper Fi.